doing, everybody? This is Brent Swansen from Midwest Muscle Report. We're here with Marissa Myatt. How are we doing, Marissa?
Hey, I'm good, Brent. Thanks for having me.
Great. Now, you are a bikini competitor, and what's next for you right now?
I am 13 days out today as of Sunday from the NPC North Americans competition in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
All right, how are we feeling going into the show?
You know what? I'm feeling great. Been doing my lifts, been doing my cardio, I've been doing posing, and I don't no matter how tired you are, I feel like those last 2 weeks you somehow find that last reserve of energy to just get you through and push through and just show up to a show knowing you put your all into it.
Oh, I agree. I kind of almost think of it as, a marathon runner when they get they hit the wall and they're just dredging along, and then they get their second wind and it's like the final push. So
definitely.
Which if we talk about, this past year for you, you've competed in quite a bit of shows. So all in all, how many weeks have you been prepping this year?
I would say I've been in about a 3-month prep. When I did my first show, NorCal, that was June 4th. And I guess that means I've been in a competition prep mode for 3 months. So it's been a little over 6 months.
Right. That can kind of be a grind for sure. So let's really quick tell everybody how you've done these shows. In the NorCal, you got first in open, first in novice. Junior Nats, you got third call-outs, which in bikini, third call-outs, hey, that's not bad because there's a million of you guys competing.
Always.
Team U, you got 5th place, which is great. Team U's a great show.
It definitely was.
USA, you got third call-outs, but like I said, you guys, there's so many of you guys competing. And in watching that show, there's a lot, the classes were stacked. And then, we're going to North American. So how do you think your body has transformed from the first show, the North California, all the way into North Americans? What do you feel like you've brought up from the first show up until now?
I would say I've definitely maintained the same weight. I've definitely maintained my cardio because the feedback from the judges time and time again, I think every bikini competitor can relate, but they always say bigger, rounder glutes and tighter, leaner, all in general. So I would say I've always gotten the feedback that my quads are a little big. I didn't play soccer, didn't do track, but I think we tend to dominate in our quads, so I've definitely put some emphasis on the glutes, of course, on the hamstrings. Love that glute ham tie, and just maintaining cardio to keep it tight, keep it right.
Awesome. And I think as you do go on from your first show, then you do another show and another show, as long as you're in that prep mode, you just keep getting tighter and you just keep looking better. So it'll be really interesting to see how you do here in the next 13 days at North Americans. So
I'm excited.
Yeah, well, you should be very excited.
Oh, yeah.
Now let's kind of talk about something that many people might not know. Let's talk about your military experience. How has that kind of translated into your bikini competing, and has it made it easier? Has it made it harder? Just kind of, talk about your background in the military.
Yeah, gosh, well, I've been in active duty Navy now for just a little over 11 years. And wow. I would say my military training, they kind of break you down and build you back up, and that's almost what you do with your coaches. You break down muscle and you build it back up. It's kind of what you do. And definitely the bearing, being on time and sticking to schedule. I think translating that from my military lifestyle to the bodybuilding training has really helped. Sometimes I complain I have long work days, every now and then maybe I have to go in at 5:30 and I don't get off till 5. But I'm very fortunate in the military because they do have a sort of lifestyle of fitness. They definitely are big on fitness, and there aren't many jobs where you're allowed to go work out during the day. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really awesome. And I think also, it's really funny because not funny, but it's just really interesting that I've talked to a lot of girls who are bikini competitors who are in the military. So I think it's good to see, military people, be in the NPC and part of the NPC. just because it's that same mindset. You know, the military mindset is very hardcore. It's very disciplined.
Very alpha.
Yeah, and those are two character traits that you have to have in bodybuilding too. So it's funny kind of how they correlate back and forth with each other. So.
Definitely. And the military in general is a snapshot of the population. So it makes sense that you're going to have a small percentage of females that are competing in bikini that come from the military when you have them out in the civilian world too.
Right, exactly. Now let's tell us, if you look at your Instagram, which you have a great Instagram, by the way, you post a lot of different foods that you make during your contest prep, and they look pretty tasty. So if you can kind of tell us, what are some of your favorite recipes that you make, and how do you make sometimes what might most people say boring foods taste better?
Oh, wow. I love to eat and I love to bake. I come from family of bakers, and my initials, Marissa Nicole Myatt, my initials are M&M. So I have a sweet tooth. But you have to keep it clean for training and for bodybuilding when you're prepping. So I think initially I'm going into 2 years now that I've been training in this community. And in the beginning, I would try to take the macros and take the food that I was allowed, whether it was a quarter cup oatmeal and 4 egg whites. And I would try to see how that works. It's a little too eggy, maybe less egg, and just scramble that for later. So that's how I started off, and little by little, the more you play around with it, you kind of figure things out. What does xanthan gum do? What does coconut flour do? Baking powder versus baking soda. And then you get a lot of inspiration from other people. I mean, I appreciate when people tell me that I've inspired them, but I get it from people who follow me, but also from other folks that I follow on Instagram. Right. And then I think because a lot of folks realize that competitors still want to satisfy their sweet tooth, there's some brands out there that are truly amazing. Devotion Nutrition is one that I've used recently, and theirs is easy. I just add water and I've got like a protein mug cake, or I love my oatmeal. My oatmeal is oatmeal that you can get flavored. You can choose whatever flavors. I add my own stevia. But it not only makes prep more interesting, but it gives you more tools to play around with when you do want to not make it so boring.
Right, exactly. That's a great answer. So, well, you know what? I just thank you for taking the time to talk with us. Can you give a shout out to your Facebook and your Instagram, how people can find out about you?
Of course, sure. Marissa Nicole Myatt. I am on Instagram at Marissa, Marissa, Nicole _lifts. That's my Instagram. I do have a Facebook page for my competitor side, Marissa Myatt, MPC competitor. I'm also on Snapchat. That's where you'll see a lot more of the foods that I eat, because it's easier to add that stuff there.
Yeah, and a lot of times videos are better.
I try to be very social, so I love interacting with my followers, and I'm very grateful for everyone who has reached out to me.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty about social media and everything, is that it makes the community of bodybuilders and physique athletes a little bit easier to access. So
that does.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for stopping by, and we wish you great luck at the North Americans here in 13 days. We know you're going to kill it, and we know that it's going to be your best placing so far. So
Thank you.
That's awesome. Well,
huge shout out to you guys too, so I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time. This is Brent Swansen from Midwest Muscle Report, here with Marissa, getting ready for the North Americans.